I walked by Elon's desk. He has a little bouncy ball next to his desk, you know, and I'm like, how often is he in here? A couple days a week, you know, but he didn't want anyone to have offices. He didn't want to have the door policy of the executives were separate from the entire workforce. And he was trying to create this environment. I was talking to some people that worked there, and do you know what their favorite part of the office was?
What? The fact that they have ice cream or something.
Yeah, they have yogurt. New study from Harvard Business Review, 40% of work from home employees would prefer to take a 5% pay cut than return to the office.
That's four out of every 10 people that are absolutely
no, we can
fucking
get a close
lazy.
up on my face.
That are willing to take 5% less money just so they can stay home. Lazy, right? There's no other.
Hold on. 9% would forego as much as 20% of their salary to stay home. That's 1 in 10.
Okay.
And you want to know why Microsoft is firing people for performance,
which I love.
Meta is firing people for performance.
Lack of performance.
The Doge, whether you like what they're doing or not, they're coming in and they're going, everything is based on performance. From here on out, that's all we're looking at doing.
I got a question for you. You come into your office and you go talk to your boss and or even an interview and say, I don't really care what I make. I'll make less, you know.
Just let me go home.
Do you ever have that conversation with anybody? Like, I would like to wake up at home and stay at home. Would that be okay with you?
How do we get here? How did we get here?
At On the Ball, we're always about performance and being the best and pushing the boundaries on being the best. And that means asking the hard questions. Our growth in 30 days of being in the office, exponentially higher than being different.
Not even close.
Not even close.
Not even close.
So how do you get the people, because you are going to alienate some of them that are good workers, right? How do you get them to buy in, or is it a complete cut them off?
I think you get them out. To me, and this goes to every, like, if you watch this show, you hear us say it all the time, right? High performers don't like mediocre people. Mediocre people don't like high performers. What Microsoft and Meta are saying is we want to be a high performance organization.
No,
Netflix did this.
We are a high performance.
Netflix did this.
If you don't meet the minimum standard, goodbye.
Right.
This is not we're not having fun here. This is a business. This is what we do. And you either do it to the standard. Thank you, Mike Tomlin. The standard is the standard. This is what we do. This is how you show up. Nick Saban changed wearing an A. When there was a methodology about what it meant to wear that. And so we have that standard. We try and instill that standard. But if your mindset is already telling you, I'll take less if I could go home, I don't know how you work around people like that and expect to get results.
And I think the other part of it is that, like, we're not here every day. We're not in the office every day. We're in the office 2 specific times a week, and then everybody else has the freedom to be here when they want and be here when they don't. But what you find out, at least on our team, because we're high performers, is that people want to be here because the energy is great. Good things are happening. We're sharing in the wins. We're discussing challenges together. It creates a momentum that's contagious that gets people to want to be there. So there could be a question worth asking to Meta and to Microsoft, which is, does your environment suck? Are people not, or the people who are willing to take less to stay home? Is it because the environment sucks? Is it their fault?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, you talk about fault and responsibility. You make that distinction all the time, which I love. So it may not be their fault, but it's their responsibility to build their environment. Anybody could change the environment in 2 seconds. It does not.
It's a choice. It's
a choice. I was working with an organization that basically we opened up that dialogue And one of the things that came back was, we don't like the way we celebrate birthdays here. All of a sudden, they started celebrating birthdays in a different way, and people didn't want to miss being in the office for that experience.
I was
Simple.
I was fortunate. I got to go to SpaceX in Los Angeles. I got
Yes,
to get
you
a
did.
tour. This was probably about 5 years ago. I got to tour, and the fascinating thing about that office is there's only one office. There's only one office that has a door, and I think they have a few conference rooms, but they are all cubicles, and everybody is together. Like the floor, and it wasn't like a sweatshop. So I don't want to don't think of like boiler room, and they're not selling like that. They're all rocket scientists, so like don't forget that. But like I walked by Elon's desk. He has a little bouncy ball next to his desk, and I'm like, how often is he in here? A couple days a week, but he didn't want anyone to have offices. He didn't want to have the door policy of the executives were separate from the entire workforce, and he was trying to create this environment. And this is a funny story. I was talking to some people that worked there, and do you know what their favorite part of the office was?
What?
The fact that they have ice cream or something.
Yeah, they have yogurt.
Yeah. Figured.
They get yogurt every day at lunch. They have a machine.
You know why I know that? Because when I visited Facebook, Facebook was a real campus that all of the personal things you needed to do were on campus. They even made, we did this recently, we did a walking meeting. Well, they made the top of the building, the roof of the building, they made it to look like Central Park. So they were booking meetings in Central Park, and you would walk around, getting this stuff done. So these are not structural changes. They're environmental things that if you want cultural that says, but it's all about production. You don't get this stuff. There was a time when like a lot of the tech companies were happening where, we have a pool table and we have a vending
Simulator
machine.
room.
And, I was like, listen, that's all unless we're making stuff happen.
Unless there's dollars being driven.
Right.
But all right, so how, right? Because I think it's cool to have everybody in the middle of the office and have everybody there and together. But we work with a lot of organizations that have a culture of disruption, that have a culture of interruption, right? Like constantly people are getting in each other's ways and there's no real great flow, which could easily happen in a place where everybody's in a cubicle and everybody's got access to each other. So the question becomes then, how do you make that a productive environment? How do you create the right environment that people can all be together, but also produce at a very high level? How do you do that?
Boundaries.
Right.